Good morning, everyone. I just want to start off by welcoming our great Governor, Kathy Hochul. Oh, let's give her a nice round of applause. Our electricity. Our great leader, I'll get that right. Okay. Andrew's two cousins. The delegation with our County Executive George Latimer, Chair of the Senate Education Committee, Senator Shelley Mayer, Senator Mayor Sage, and just wanted to say welcome. This is the Governor's fifth appearance on this matter. We all know how critically important this issue is, especially when it comes to making sure our kids have access to great education, have great teachers, but we want to eliminate distractions, and this certainly is a huge issue for us here in Yonkers, and I'm sure that'll come out in the roundtable. So I've been told 30 seconds or less, so that's what I'm doing, sticking to it, and I'm going to turn it right over to our great Governor.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Mayor, I've come to this city for many, many years, and it is literally transformed before my eyes. I was just commenting on the daylighting, the project that I came as a brand new lieutenant governor to unveil years ago, and just to see the vibrancy of downtown Yonkers, it is so exciting. The flowers, the bridge, just the energy, and I want to just commend this great city for really punching through some hard times and coming out in a very, very positive way. To have our leader here as well, her hometown, and I want to thank Andre Stewart Cousins for being such a tremendous partner in government. And I don't say that lightly. It's sometimes overused, and I mean it sincerely. We've deepened a friendship that has really served the people of all of our communities across the state of New York. I want to thank you for being here, and the many members who've attended here today. I mean, this is a great turnout of our elected leaders. I want to make sure I don't miss anybody. We have our Senator Shelley Mayer, Assembly Member Nader Sayegh, Gary Pretlow, Assembly Member, Chris Ika, Assembly Member, Chris Burdick, Assembly, of course our County Executive, and I think the Mayor of White Plains is here as well. Tom Roach, are you here? Are we on his way up? All right. All right. Well, we'll get to Tom when he gets here. Why are we here? I want to thank the people who've come. I want to thank the school districts for attending here. You'll be hearing from everybody in a couple minutes, and our partners from the teacher community, NYSIT, is represented here, as well as many parents. And this is a conversation about the future of our children. It's that simple. What I have heard in these 5 roundtables now in every corner of the state is that we have a real crisis on our hands. It started when we worked with the legislature to deliver funding for mental health services. Why did the state of New York have to do that? Because we're seeing that people of all ages, all walks of life, but particularly our children, were so adversely affected by this pandemic. And if you talk to a teenager today, whether they were in 5th grade when it hit or whether they were in 10th grade, it has still had a profound effect on their psychological well-being. That security blanket of everything being normal, and the rituals and the routines and the graduations and the friendships and the classrooms, it all dissipated at an important time in their own development, and they're just not back yet. At the same time, we had this confluence of the algorithms that are coming from social media feeds, addictive algorithms, something that we talked about, not just funding mental health services, but also saying what is happening with our children where they feel so compelled and a compulsion to have that cell phone in their hands all day long, including the school day. And we look back at this, and I joined a number of members of the legislature. We worked with Tish James, our Attorney General, last fall and proposed nation-leading social media legislation that I'm proud we got through. The legislature signed into law just a month and a half ago. And what it says is to the social media companies, number one, you can no longer monetize our children's mental health, that you cannot collect data about them and sell it to others for your personal gain. But also, you're not allowed to be able to bombard these young people with messages that they have not asked for. They can still go to social media sites, but to have this all day long, a stream of content intentionally bringing them in to hold them captive and not release them, whether it's during the school days or after hours or in the middle of the night. And we have to stop that, and that's exactly what we're doing. And the legislation was passed, signed into law, and now the regulations are being developed. So why are we here today? the reason that the young people are so addictive and cannot let the phones down or these feeds down is that they have the phone, they have the vehicle. They say 13 to 17-year-olds, 95% of them have access to a cell phone. And they're not putting it down when it comes to school time. School districts are struggling. Some have already taken some bold measures. I want to hear about that. I want to know what those have done. And I've heard this around the state. It is going cold turkey in some districts where they've said no distractions, no smartphones, no earbuds, no cell phones at all in the classroom during the day. And the results have been profound. But I want to hear from you what you're seeing in your districts about how we should be shaping policy with one objective in mind, is that let our children be children, let them learn in a classroom, let our teachers be able to have the attention that they've been denied for a long time with children that are distracted, and let the parents get their children back, the carefree young ages that they should have had, but now, or children they should have had, and now kids are not even able to look up at the dinner table and make eye contact because it's had an effect on their social and personal development when they're not interacting with students during the day or friends after school in person, and that's the big difference. So I'm ready to kick it off and thank our moderator here for hosting us, number one, and we have Dr. Michelle Lazzullo. Did I say it right?
You did.
Okay. The Associate Superintendent of the Yonkers City School District to moderate the conversation, call on our principals with some questions, and I'm here to listen. I'll jump in every once in a while, but again, this is a listening session for us in elective office. Thank you. Yep.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us at today's roundtable discussion on cell phones in schools. My name is Dr. Michelle Lazzullo, Associate Superintendent for Yonkers Public Schools, and I have the pleasure for moderating this important conversation on behalf of our Superintendent, Mr. Annabelle Soler Jr., and our Board of Education. First, I would like to thank Governor Hochul and her team for organizing this event. Your leadership and commitment to addressing educational challenges are truly appreciated. I would also like to thank the State Senate Majority Leader, Andrea Stewart-Cousins, whose support has been and continues to be invaluable. Additionally, we have the honor of welcoming the Mayor of Yonkers, Mike Spano, and several other elected officials. Your presence today underscores the significance of this issue. To set the stage, let's consider a striking statistic. A recent study found that 80% of New York State high schools have implemented some form of cell phone restriction policy. This statistic highlights the growing concern and diverse approaches towards managing cell phone use in our educational environments. As we dive into the discussion, I'd like to remind our panelists that you will have 2 to 3 minutes to answer each question. Additionally, please be prepared to follow up questions from the governor or other officials.
All right, and to kick us off, I want to introduce our Majority Leader to start us off the conversation with our panelists and ask her for her thoughts on today's event.
Thank you so much, Governor, and again, thank you for being here, always present, and thanks for being in the city of Yonkers, yes, my hometown, and so Mayor and the County Executive and my colleagues in the state legislature, you see the head of the teachers union, Rosanna, I'm sorry, Samantha, my friend Sam, and Robin representing the PTA, and of course the Board of Trustees represented by Rosalba, Ms. Del Vecchio, and so many of you. The governor wanted it short, as the mayor said, and I was just thinking, I have a youth advisory council, and every year we talk about the things that would be most important for us to cover during the time that we meet. And to a person, every young person has said mental health in some way, whether it's anxiety, whether it's bullying, whether it is something that they know is out of their control, but so connected to social media. And every year we begin with the comprehensive look at where they might be able to find resources in our community. And I'm so grateful that we have such a robust community with services where they can start addressing this mental health and take away the stigma. What the governor, as she was talking about the things that we've done, also mental health clinics. 20 million into school-based mental health clinics. When we talked about health clinics, usually it was always, making sure you had your vaccinations, making sure, but now, to address some of the statistics that we all know, we are now putting resources into mental health clinics. But we know that regardless of what legislation we pass, and we worked hard to pass it, regardless of what we think we have done, there is so much more to do. And there are possibilities for us to help our school community, get through so that they could do what they are poised to do, which is educate our children. The last thing I will say before we kick it off, and thank you, Dr. Uzzarlo, for that, is that we, the grown-ups, are as guilty as our children. And people, learn what they live. So as we continue to talk about what to do about them, we who are addicted around the table and beyond have to take a look at what we're modeling as well.
Excellent.